But like talking about the power of memes, like the whole GameStop saga is just insane. Like I
Yeah.
cannot, but like honestly, for me, it's the most like amusing and positive thing that has happened in the past year. Like just the like the ape strong together memes on Reddit. That they're just cracking me up right now. Is that
Diamond hands,
diamond
hold the
hands,
line,
hold the line? Exactly.
the
We
moon.
to the moon, exactly, to the moon. I got my ticket. We made some t-shirts as well. Actually, I'll link it in the description. My friend and I. um, but like that just shows you the power of the meme, and then you watch like it's this is going to be, I think, like this podcast, I'll put it out next week, so I don't know what will happen by then. That's a long time in in 2021, but it's going to be so interesting to watch like how strong the memes are versus like basically the entire media establishment and Wall Street all pushing this narrative that like it was that the redditors have abandoned GameStop. Like that was the craziest thing for me. Like on Monday I was looking through the news, and it's just like constant stories. My mom even sent me a few from the BBC. Like just like, oh, you know, Redditors have abandoned GameStop. They've gone to silver. And then you look on Reddit and like the top post on like the front page, not just on Wall Street Bets, on the front page is like, do not buy silver. This is a distraction. Like you go, what the fuck is going on here? Like, and I can't even tell because you could get like super conspiratorial about it and go, oh, you know, they're all working together. And then you just go, are these people just being lazy? Are they just looking for the clicks where they go, here's the next GameStop, with everyone looking for like the big investment opportunities, or, you know, all the people sitting at home with not much to do, looking for, you know, the next GameStop? Is that just them jumping on that? Or is there like legit someone going, you know, you need to tell people that, you know, like there's some room with a whole bunch of guys with big fat cigars going, yeah, we need to get them off GameStop. And like,
No, I think, look, I think the game, I think I've found it, I think, fascinating as much as everyone has. I mean, obviously it's been meme driven. And I don't think you can actually look, I don't think you can look beyond that, because I think really when you examine sort of the motivations behind it, I think a lot of people, a lot of the sort of the GameStop buyers, the people who are doing this short squeeze, then most of them, they're not really doing it for financial gain. They're doing it for the fuck of it. They're doing it because it's fun, and the memes are a huge part of that. Like there's a guy on Wall Street Bets, u slash deep fucking value, and he was like 50 mil up, and he cashed out I think about 13 of it, 13 mil, and he's lost some more. Like he's not doing it financially. They're doing it because it's fun. They're doing it to fuck with Wall Street, and the memes and everything that's associated with it is a huge part of it. And initially I was like, I loved it. I loved it because it was like, you know, it's sort of, call it grassroots. It's sort of the democratization of, you know, challenging the monopoly of these hedge funds. You know, they're scumbags. Like the way they, people might not be familiar with like typical shorting practices, which by the way, you know, shorting is a totally respectable part of a healthy financial ecosystem, because if you want to be able to buy things, you know, people should also be able to bet against them. They correlate. But however, it is not unheard of for hedge funds in Wall Street to, and more broadly, you know, other traders to aggressively short something to drive down its price and effectively and eventually collapse the company and profit from it. You know, they initiate media speculation, and for them to then be going and accusing these Redditors of market manipulation, when like that is, you know, their sort of modus operandi, is frankly laughable. What's also laughable, actually, was really funny, was seeing the sort of CEO of NASDAQ go on American broadcast media and like call for regulation, which is like, I think, you know, possibly the only time I've ever seen, you know, one of these financiers be like, yes, we need more regulation. So that tells you they're running scared, and it's really funny. But the other part of it, and that, which is sort of the next place I went to when I was thinking about it, is that there's this idea from Marcuse called repressive desublimation, which is basically sort of within a system, within a political system, a capitalist system, that you basically commodify any challenge to sort of the ideology or the orthodoxy is commodified and sold, and therefore you sort of render it meaningless. You take away its power. The obvious example is like communist revolutionary Che Guevara. Who a lot of people don't even know that about him now. He's just a guy on a t-shirt that people buy. That's the most obvious example of it. But here, we're talking about, okay, well, what's happening here? We've got loads of low-level sort of Reddit guys all agreeing that they're going to sort of drive this stock up, squeeze the short of Wall Street. And then potentially, I guess the question is what happens next? Because if they then sort of, cash out, fade into obscurity, well, then there's a very obvious sort of repressive desublimation argument there, because all these guys who challenged the financial system, challenged the orthodoxy, took on Wall Street, well, they all cashed out, and now they live in penthouse apartments, and the system continues, and it's mollified this threat that was posed to it. So what happens next is fascinating, but I'm not necessarily all in. Like, okay, these guys are gonna sort of remedy the world's ills.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk on Wall Street bets of like, okay, right, first we're going to take down Melvin Capital, and when they break, then it's going to be the clearing houses, and when the clearing houses break, then the whole of Wall Street's going to explode, and then you're just going to see nothing but bankers jumping from the tops of buildings, and it's like, okay, guys, calm down. Like you might get a little bit, like I'm all for trying to fuck with Wall Street, and I hope that this brings more scrutiny of the practices of hedge funds. I mean, like one of the funniest things about this whole saga was I saw an interview with Michael Burry, the guy who's played by Christian Bale in The Big Short. And he got in on the GameStop stock early. So he's made like I don't know if he sold his position or not, or if he's still holding to the moon. But he was complaining that he was like, look, when I shorted the US stock housing market, I had to go through thousands of pages of like mortgage bonds and spend years of research and like truly understand what was going on before I spotted like what was actually happening here. And then right at the end, and then he was like, but these Redditors, like, it's awesome what they're doing, but like, fuck them. They all they've done is see a couple of memes, and they bought some GameStop stock, and now they're making the same like levels of profits that I was when I spent like years of research, like looking at how to short the US housing market. Like, he was mad at them for just jumping on a bandwagon.
I guess as well. There's also the Wolf of Wall Street interviews that have been going around. Jordan Bell, like the actual one, Jordan Belfort is, speaking to Sky News, and you can see there's a real glint in his eye when he's talking about it. Like, he absolutely fucking loves it. He loves the fact that these guys are out there fucking with the system. I guess because there are parallels and corollaries to what he was doing. Although what they're doing on Wall Street bets, I don't think is necessarily as illegal as what he was doing. But I think there are parallels between the two of them, and just wanting to fuck with the system and fuck with these guys who, sit on the power, sit on the cash, and wanting to get in amongst it. I think that's something they share.
I mean, I think it's important to remember that guy was literally a crook. And as much as Leonardo DiCaprio made him seem cool and accessible, he was like actually just like breaking the law in an industry where you have to do a lot to be considered to have broken the law. and like he was fucking with a lot of people. So I mean, I'm kind of like, as much as I find it really amusing to watch all the memes and like see some of his interviews with him getting like happy about people fucking with Wall Street, I'm also a little bit like, well, these guys are kind of doing it legitimately. You were like just one of the most like drugged up, horrendously corrupt guys in the history of Wall Street. And again, that's saying something. Like, Thanks so much for listening. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast and to our mailing list. And don't forget, my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, is now available for pre-order on Amazon. You'll find the link in the description below. Until next time, thanks so much for listening.